That's better. Yeah, we're making this a two-parter. That should get rid of some people. Well, it's a good thing they left when they did, because the weirdness dial is only gonna slowly keep turning up. If you're like me, you're eating onions almost every day. They're great at adding flavor to things and just meaning to life in general. But I don't just take a whole bowl of onions and eat them straight. Well, that's how I feel about weird things too. A little bit are great, they keep you guessing. But Armed and Delirious just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Okay, I'm better. This has been Trolls and Tribulations. Okay, back to the dungeons. What the hell's going on here? See, this is what happens when I leave. People start growing doppelgangers. But it's not like they help you or anything, they're just there. Back down the stairs. Of course, I'm just looking up the answer here. It'd probably take you a good 15 minutes to trial and error this. And that leads us to the secret hideout of the anthropomorphic plants. Now here we actually have something kind of clever. The plant agent didn't hear you come in, therefore you can't be real.
I didn't see or hear you come in, so I had no idea that you were here. So, in short, you're not here?
So the solution is to put the plunger with the bell on the opening as an alarm and re-enter, so you're real. I say this is clever because there's actually some method to the madness here. This is more like an Alice in Wonderland style of madness, as opposed to the raw chaos we've been fed up until this point. It's also worth mentioning that the walkthrough strongly advises me to enter and exit this area consecutively 3 or 4 times. Otherwise, I risk triggering a dead end where I cannot complete the game and I won't even realize it. Oh, that's the biggest sin of all for old adventure games. Anybody that does this deserves to go to developer hell. But before I jump to too many conclusions, this is actually just a bug. They didn't design the game this way on purpose, so we don't have to track them down and mail them live bees or anything. But apparently this game has multiple bugs like this. Freaking landmines. Anyway, we get enlisted by the plants and meet their secret agents on the way out.
And you look like, oh my god, you look like you.
We are here to help you make your way through the corridor, just like you.
When they're not beaming crazy rays to try and melt your brain, they help you gain entry to the library that's closed from noon to 11:59 a.m.
Follow the yellow bricks road. Follow the yellow bricks road. Follow the yellow bricks road.
And here is the library. I have to say, for a secret library that's open 1 minute a day, this lives up to all my expectations. I think Salvador Dali would also approve. Naturally, Granny slides down the book tongue and proceeds to trash it. It's not a marvel of the universe or anything. From here we depart from Door World and head off to Road World. I like how Granny's spaceship sinks like a brick as she leaves. I also like the look of Road World. These little prince planets don't get old with me. Here we have sort of an MC Escher-ish area that's about as visually unappealing as you can get. If you try and enter the main door, an alien accosts you, then throws you over a ledge, but since this is Escher World, you come right back.
You're so pathetic. You can't think of anything new.
Okay, stop. This has been bothering me the whole game. What just happened there? The alien beat her up, so she says you're so pathetic, you can't think of anything new. What is that in reference to? It doesn't mean anything, and the game is loaded with dialogue like this. Pretend I'm cooking dinner and I cut a tomato in half. Then I say, I spin, and this is what happens. That doesn't mean a damn thing. But it sounds like it does, and you just missed the reference. No, you didn't. This is how you make people crazy. See, of course this is a game called Dementia, but it's still a game meant to be enjoyed. What I wasn't counting on is that this game portrays things an actual crazy person would say and do. Most of this game is just some mutation of Looney Tunes and Alice in Wonderland, but parts like this are genuine madness.
Strange. Books in a library? Go figure. I taste like sugar. I'm as sweet as can be. I'm red. Oh, and my shoes are red, almost. Yes, I remember Oscar. Where am I?
This game goes the extra mile with crazy. Okay, I had to get that out of the way because the game is relentless with the madness. Guiding Granny makes me feel like a healthcare worker. Moving on, we head to an exotic garden. And Granny being Granny, the goal here is to destroy everything with a cannon so you can trap this weird hummingbird man.
That's for being speechless.
And the point of all this was to steal his box of cornflakes. And because he's crushed under a stone slab, Granny decides to give him a punch in the face for good measure. Again, I'd like to point out that there's no real reason or motive for any of this. The explanation for 90% of the acts of violence and robbery we commit against other beings is, fuck you, I'm crazy. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And hey, it's another crappy element of adventure games.
What's this? It's...
We have to combine the brandy with the cornflakes so we can feed it to the pig so it will produce bubbles. Ah! Now that's hardly unique to this game, but it sure adds to the pile of crazy. And off we go to some ghost town in the west. Except this is a subworld of this larger world which the manual calls the Thing. I think this is where I would live in this universe. Thing World. If I head to the back by the abandoned gas station, try to guess what we find. Well, if you answered gasoline, then you're correct. But if you answered a giant caterpillar game show host giving away a new car, then you are also correct.
Who's that? What? Where?
This goes on for a while, so to cut to the chase, we don't win the car. From here, we enter a well the hard way. Naturally, there's a cavern system inside. Granny does her thing. I'm starting to think Granny used to work for the circus when she was younger. It might explain a few things. Anyway, we move on to another land or something. And just to keep us guessing, Granny actually does something helpful here and restores the pond. My green head thing now. Also, we get some more doppelgangers here. You can tell which one is the real one because she casts a reflection. Vampires. This part is pretty self-explanatory, don't need to say much here. You just have to remember bullets belong in mushrooms, because those get giants every time. Wah! And off we go to fly to the pagoda in the sky. Inside, well, you tell me what we're looking at. A guy floating in air taking in bubbles through his helmet, even though he appears to be breathing liquid. I think he likes math. Well, Granny will put a stop to that. We asphyxiate him, I guess, and take his place as the supreme math being. We could just end the game here as far as I'm concerned. But we won't, because now it's time to head to the east side of Thing World. And here we are in beautiful Beijing. The industrial sector, it looks like. Granny finds the smell a little hard to cope with, but not to worry. She just has to put a clothespin on her nose, and everything's all better.
Schmurful shalululu, baloo baloo.
We mosey over to the left, and what's this? It's Granny's husband. What a small world. He seems to be indisposed, but not to worry. Granny has a plan. Don't do this if you're visiting a peanut butter factory or something, kids. Granny's not a professional, but she's too old to care about things like consequences. And her plan works, and does not result in the slow death that this could have turned into so easily. And of course, we pick up Grandpa and put him in our inventory. There he is. Moving on to the south side of Thing World, we enter the suburbs. This area is peaceful compared to everything else we've seen. And in case you forgot we're playing as an elderly person, Granny sits down on a bench bobblehead style and sits there. This part is a pretty good simulation of what being old is like. Now the goal here is, of course, to put an end to those damn punks on their roller skates. Yeah, that'll teach her. Okay, now I can actually see a lot of old people intentionally tripping skaters, but then Granny dons her snorkel and goes the extra mile to put a stop to Roller Girl here. She tries to escape, but nope, Granny's too fast. And again, it's not clear to me if Granny just murdered someone. It certainly appears like she just grabbed the skater girl and held her down under the water until she stopped moving. But we don't really know. We never see her again, put it that way. It's kind of a shame Granny keeps murdering innocent people because I get the impression under saner circumstances, she would be a pretty cool grandmother. But she's making it hard to sympathize with her. There doesn't really seem to be any pattern to Granny's victims so far, other than them just being there. However good or bad the Crouton family is, they were doing the world a favor keeping Granny cooped up in the attic, sitting in her rocking chair, drinking hooch. Outdoors, she's a danger to herself and others. Anyway, Granny crashes a bus, but if you click on the lamppost...
Strange his ass.
Yeah, like I said, Granny is insane. And here we are, back at the intro. If you go to the house at the end, a teacher has been taped to a wall and we get the end credits. Is the game over? No, it isn't. I guess that makes the entire rest of the game a post-credits scene. Well, it's a long one. From here we head to the forest of Thing World and get a talking tree and his friend or something. This tree reminds me a lot of the ones from Mortal Kombat 2, except more sleepy. After arguing with the tree, Granny puts her survival instincts on hold and dives right in when he yawns. She's like a human bug. Further into the tree, she threatens to kill a living chair holding a treasure map. And again, I have to give points for authenticity of what old people are like.
This is not a treasure map. It's just a route to a box of gold. There is neither a way to my recipe book on this map or to a store that sells spices.
Moving along, deeper in the forest we come across the scientist tree, so we wreck his experiment.
I need some light to continue. You give me light, and I'll give you back your sanity.
Wow, that's a good deal. You should take it, Granny. She sabotages the mailman, or the male animal, to get more parts, and he lied. You don't get your sanity back. Here, something is going on. Granny's pretty good on a skateboard, I have to say. And of course, like a typical forest, we also have the hidden interplanetary stock exchange. Buy! Sell! The trees are talking! Next up is Communication World. But first we make a quick detour to visit another scientist hard at work. He's running your usual dog and sentient bone test. Game on! I'd like to emphasize I haven't clicked on anything in this room yet. As usual, Granny ruins everything, including the dog bone experiment, and sticks her green monster on him because she can. And now the Communication World. It certainly looks like something is happening. With the power of window blinds and lasers, we move forward. Here we sabotage an electrical outlet to straight up kill a TV editor when he answers the phone. Then she hits a switch, heads into a portal or something, and next thing you know, we have another game show. This intro goes on for 2 straight minutes, only to tell us the goal is to drop old people into the tank where contestants attack them. In this case, a giant fork and a shopping cart. Better luck next time. I guess I haven't talked about the music yet. I can't say it's my favorite, but I feel like it communicates the tone of the game exactly. I completely understand what their intentions are with this music. It's almost as though if I don't care for some of the music, I have an issue with the game itself, which I do, so it's perfect. It burrows its way into your head, too. I actually had this song in my head for years and forgot what it was from. So hey, bonus catharsis. Next to Boppin', this is probably the most odd and diverse game soundtrack I've listened to. I like Boppin's better, but hey, if you like the blues with people mumbling, you can't go wrong here. Okay, time to get sucked into the projector Tron style. Here we are inside the computer. I'll be disappointed if we don't have computer parts in the future that look like this cube follicle thing. And hey, remember how I said this game could be a sentence for murder? Well, here's one of the puzzles that would keep us safe. First, we turn invisible. Then you have to click on this middle set of capacitors right here. Then quickly, you have to click on the wires just above the portal there. If you don't do that fast enough, it resets. See, many adventure games you can stumble through blindly if you just click on enough things. But the fact that this is a timed sequence that you have to do in the right order, and there's no indicator that you're affecting anything, makes the odds of getting through this very low. Anyway, we step through the portal and find the rabbit's house. Ooh, must be getting close to the end, right? Well, we have another standard issue adventure game puzzle of combining a whistle with the horn so we can use it on the gumball machine. I'd like to emphasize again, I actually do enjoy puzzle games, but I don't consider this a puzzle. This is not logical. This is clown logic. That, of course, causes the flying bathtub Vikings to smash open a hole for us, and I do like how in order to enter the rabbit's house, we have to enter the inside of the front door. Worlds within worlds. And look, it's the rabbit! Almost there. Well, he leaves, we give chase. Don't try to jump on the edge of a trampoline with your head like Granny's doing here. Wow, pretty good there, Granny. Quick, guess what this room is for? Yeah, I don't know either. So now's the time to mention that any normally paced game would have you go through some more chambers and then confront the rabbit in a finale. Well, not here. We're inside the rabbit's secret lair. We saw him, so we know he's close. So naturally, now we're done and never need to come back here again. Boy, that's satisfying. Going to the end boss's fortress, not to stop him, but just so you can steal a squeegee from his house. Armed and delirious. Armed with a squeegee. So it's back to Sawblade Vortex World and into the woods again. Here's a guy with an axe in his head and surprise twist! Granny's not the one who did this. He's okay, his brain's not in there, so his life was never in danger. I guess he's a lich. A bald lich with a mustache. From here we head to the laundry room and things get ugly fast. First, you duck below the machinery, then circle around.
Is there a height in space? Good question. I love good questions. It's dusk. Me and Einstein in the backyard, discussing.
I don't think you're on Einstein's level, Granny. Okay, then you wait and stow away in the laundry. And here, this part. I need to dodge these stabs. Whoops, didn't make it. The thing is, not only do I need to click the cursor at the right moment, but even now, I'm still not sure exactly where I should be pressing it. Then, I have to do it again in a different spot in succession. I'm not going to show you what this looks like because I wasn't recording it. I have a walkthrough and know what I'm supposed to do, and it still took me about 10 tries. Any other adventure game, if you had this mess, you would assume you were missing the right item here, like a pillow on your back to absorb the spike or something. No. On the prison system, this puzzle right here would keep people locked up a long time. It doesn't look like much, but this was the worst part of the game for me. Now, if you can believe it, things are still kind of weird at this point. We won't worry about that. Here's what we will worry about. You have to throw darts at the right colors to open the giant microwave. Boy, this episode has so many quotes you can take out of context. It must be stacking up by now. Anyway, let's stop and think about this for a second. A quick math check tells us we're looking at 512 possible combinations. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ross, there's probably a hint somewhere to tell you the correct combo. After all, no developer would make you go through 500 random combinations to progress through the game, right? See, I've just been following the walkthrough blindly, so I assumed I missed the clue that explains this. But I really hadn't seen anything. This was bugging me because I kept thinking, how was somebody supposed to beat this back in the 90s when I first played it? So I investigated further. The walkthrough I'm using actually has two versions. One with minimum hints, and one telling you exactly what to do. You can guess which one I've been using. So I thought, let's see what the hint is for this puzzle. Except it doesn't give you a hint, like check the kitchen for a colorful clue. No, it just sends me right back to the blunt walkthrough. But I still wasn't buying this is the way it's supposed to work. So I searched high and low and I found one other walkthrough, which is probably still derived from this one, but whatever. Let's see what they have to say. To the best of my knowledge, there is no clue whatsoever in the game to assist you with this. If you do this systematically, it shouldn't take too long. If you are shockingly unlucky and have to go through all the combinations before you hit on the correct one, it still can't take longer than 30 to 45 minutes. Well, that clears that up. Wow, what a great game. Yeah, only 30 minutes or so of this. Time flies when you're having fun. I mean, no sane person would just give up and assume they don't have the info they need to do this puzzle, right? I've never seen anything like this before. I've played a fair number of adventure games, and I've seen impossible puzzles you'll never guess, but I've never seen a technically solvable puzzle where you're supposed to do nothing but guess for 30 minutes straight. What the hell is going on here? Why would you... See, this doesn't even feel mean-spirited. It just feels crazy. Does the manual say something about this? Is this copy protection? No, but we do get a foreword from the designer who is on the defensive right out the gate. This game is not the fruit of a sick man's mind. Oh yeah, that didn't come from nowhere. I can only imagine how the staff meetings for this game must have gone down. Whatever, I get to cheat. Let's enter the microwave. Digging deeper into the great microwave, we find not a burrito, but your daughter-in-law. I like these little hopping things here. Her kangaroo thing seems to be enjoying itself. We put a stop to that. And we have some real classic adventure game puzzles right here. As in, they're bad and not obvious, but not so bad and obscure that they're impossible. For example, we have a crowbar. We don't use it to open a rusty door or free some wreckage. We use it to move this totally mundane block here. And the rest of the sequence requires you clicking on the same things almost 10 times, and then clicking on some other things. Anyway, we end up tossing Melanie out into space, and I guess she's dead now? Time to go. On to a new subworld entirely, back in Door World. We take the sideways elevator down to the 1st or 4th floor, depending on your perspective. And unlike the metal room from earlier, this MCS room is the real deal, complete with shifting gravity and sounds of heavy animal breathing. Here we find our grandson and toss him into space. I begin to realize that maybe we're actually rescuing our family as opposed to killing them. But it's anyone's guess with Granny. Tossing them into the void somehow drifts them along space currents to safety. Further into Subdoor World, we find an artist's studio with a creature perpetually stunning itself. Granny unleashes a chicken to mesmerize the artist, who proceeds to devour it off-screen like a wild animal. She then takes the trapdoor dresser portal to the upper floor. I think Granny may be thinking with portals a little too much. Naturally, because there is a cute-looking animal thing, Granny attacks it and steals its camera. Our last stop here takes us to some suspended cubicle renovation in space, followed by a country music number with dancing boots.
Now, here's a Red Shoes tune. They dance from dawn till noon. They got their rhythm, the music's a thrill. Can't stop them now, they won't stand still. Come on, here you guys, and listen to something old and wise about a horse named Blues, a cow named Moose, and they both were pretty.
We then make a quick stop back at Beijing to get back at our antagonistic son. We pretend to be a sexy model to gain entry because this game needed Oedipal complex overtones to really round it out. It's short-lived as she tricks him to falling into the flying coffin and sends him on his way. Back to Subroad World, we take a quick stop at some sort of alien Q*bert race. Guess what item we use here? Guess what item? Okay, besides the football helmet. That's too easy. Yeah, we squirt suntan lotion on the ground so the aliens can lather up their feet. I guess it is awfully sunny out. I'm still not even sure how I beat this, but I saved my game. That's what matters. And another stop to whatever land, and I shouldn't be surprised by now, but I am. Remember the pagoda in the sky? Well, if you move the cursor a little lower, you don't go to the pagoda, you head to the wasteland or whatever this is below it. Who would ever think that this is the same exit location as the one right next to it, and the background is just scenery? Well, here we are treated to a man who likes making balloons and his enchanting toucan.
I love to make balloons. I love to make balloons. I love to make balloons.
This goes on for 2 minutes. Back to Pinball World, we head to the nightclub. The lone dancer on the floor seems to be having a sexual identity crisis, but appears to have sorted it out to his satisfaction, given the content look on his face. Granny does her thing, then cuts in and tears up the dance floor. Then, of course, if you drag the table instead of clicking on it, which also does something, that opens up a secret entrance. To cut some terrible singing short, we find our grandson Florence and save him by clicking on the secret brick in the wall, inserting the emergency steering wheel, then dragging him to the wall. Honestly, this puzzle is pretty par for the course compared to everything else I've seen by now. Continuing our family roundup, we head back to the hallway from before. Then we enter what I guess is the music listening room. I follow the walkthrough and oh! Windows 95, except no substitutes. This was a rather big interruption for me. The irony is pretty thick here that the sound drivers completely glitched out while I was in the sound room. A reboot didn't fix it either. I had to fix a lot of things. I'll spare you the details, I'll just say it was bad. And I have no confidence it won't happen again. Windows 95. So, much later, for me anyway, we rescue our hippie granddaughter. Which I guess makes sense since she's part of the animal torturer family. And hippies are known for torturing animals. Okay, out the airlock you go. And we have one more family member left. I saved the best for last. Where could they be? Here's a hint. It's a screen you've already seen before. Care to guess? Did anyone say the sun? Yeah, we just click on the sun and drag it to the right. Then off we go into the clouds. I both respect and resent the game for doing this. So what's behind the sun? Well, some moon with Napoleons and a steamroller by the looks of things. I bet astronomers didn't see that one coming. We do our thing and rescue our grandson. So, we're almost there. We've rescued our family, we have the mushroom, we have the fish. There's only one thing to do now, which is to return to the plant layer. Open the seemingly benign fan, break out the steps, and walk into it, because this all totally makes sense. And here is the ending, a sight few mortals have witnessed. And it is long, so here are the highlights.
I'm a pretty rabbit and I'm in love with me, just me.
Who's she waving at?
Now everything's quiet and she's lost in space. Don't need to chase her no more, cause she's out of my face.
Okay, what do you think, guys? Is this the ugliest rabbit you've ever seen in a video game?
Where's my recipe book?
I don't care.
Good answer.
Pity my ass can't move like my mouth.
You can't blame me. I didn't do anything. You're not thinking about making rabbit stew out of me, are you?
I don't think I'd want to eat that rabbit.
Then just call me Trap.
You know, I'm sure that came across as witty in Granny's mind.
Thanks. I needed a good bath. Old woman, I'm not a rabbit.
The plot thickens.
You're what? It doesn't matter what you are. You're still a mean, inconsiderate fuzzball, and I'm getting tired of holding you, so
Do it, Granny!
So tell me where my recipe book is, or you're gonna be part of the soup.
What's your middle name?
Okay, skipping ahead, this drags on. So she sicks a piranha on him, I guess. No! I hope everyone has nice dreams tonight. And it was a tiny hippo all along. Okay.
But all of your family tortured me. It caused me a great deal of physical and emotional pain. So I decided to seek revenge upon your whole family.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what the manual said.
Back your recipe book.
Which is, come on, speak up, Hippo.
I want you and your entire family in the villa and sitting around one table.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a trap.
3 onions, dipped in cow dung.
Granny,
2
stop.
falafels with moose cock.
Stop.
1 chief plant with pubic hair, and so on.
And here is the final scene. I swear I didn't skip anything important. You did not miss any story elements of this ending. And Grandpa's still alive. That's amazing. And that's it. That's as much as a conclusion as we're gonna get. And now that it's over, I charge Granny with 11 counts of aggravated assault and 4 counts of murder. Okay, awards time. First award, Best Multiverse. If there's anything I walk away from liking about this game, it's the worlds and the subworlds. They give Lewis Carroll a run for his money here. They went the extra mile. Next award, Most Inaccessible Game. This game is covered in barbs. With the exception of a private server emulator for a dead MMO, this has to be the most difficult to run game I've ever come across. It's abandonware. It will only work on Windows 95, which I had to learn the hard way. It's 5 CDs with disc swapping in the extreme. The audio mostly plays in your left ear. The gameplay hits almost every bad stereotype of classic adventure games and then piles on some more to create some of the worst gameplay I've seen. This is a game that says turn back every step of the way. You know how the faster you go, the more air resistance pushes back against you quadratically, so it takes more and more energy to keep going? That's exactly what finishing this game feels like. And the final award? The Odyssey of Gaming. This isn't just an odd game. This is a weirdness epic worthy of game history. It is long, it is full of encounters, the production quality is very high, I feel like the developers tried their damnedest, and the gameplay is so bad, no one was ever going to beat this on their own. I don't think there's going to be a game quite like this again. There are still weird adventure games being made now, but an actual company funding a game out of pocket and putting out a 5-disc box copy to be sold on store shelves with this as the product? This is what commercial risk looks like. It doesn't get any purer than what we have here. Somebody had a vision. Usually the internet likes to latch on to anything weird and expressive like this, but this game hasn't even made top weird game lists. Time has largely forgotten this game, but I haven't. And with that, I pass this curse along to you. That's the episode. Ah.